Hey Metalheads! Welcome back to MetalAcademix. We're here for a band review with...
Elvenking.
Elvenking. I think I always mispronounce this as Elvenkings, as in plural, for some reason. And I only know that these guys come from Italy and that they play the violin, or there is a violin player amongst them. But I have not really heard many songs from the band.
So this is interesting. I've been wanting to do Elvenking for a while now, since we did Brothers of Metal, because Brothers of Metal and Elvenking were going to go on basically a co-tour. Not that one was opening for the other, but they would actually do a tour together, headlining together.
Nice.
And as I was into Brothers of Metal, I was listening. I hadn't heard of Elvenking so much, even though they're prolific. They've been around since the early 2000s. So I, for the channel, decided to get into a bit of Elvenking, and I kind of picked my 3 songs, and I put them aside and just never got around to them. And then I thought, okay,
time has passed and then you revisited.
Let's do it now. And I completely changed my selection, basically from the top down.
Wow.
So, Elvenking. What to say about them? Yes, Italian folk metal-ish, but they're... So, the reason I changed is because when I was listening to them before, I got into some of their songs. Very catchy, but not long-lasting in my book. I didn't really...
You didn't remember them after a month.
Well, the songs, you can get caught up in them for a little bit. They have short-term potential, I think, in a playlist, but then kind of fell out for me, personally. And so when I came to revisit them for the channel, I was like, I can't play these songs because I don't like them necessarily so much. And I think that's maybe a difference between myself and some other hardcore Elvenking fans. We're fighting against the YouTube algorithm here because a lot of people who would come to this video have searched Elvenking reaction, understandably. And so what I'm going to try to do in this video is give a bit of a fair split, I think, between some things that I like, but also be transparent that this is not my favorite band
of all time.
And I can see how some people really like some of their songs. It's very anthem-y. A lot of times it can be very ballady, and some people like that, but
it doesn't have a staying power.
It doesn't have staying power for me necessarily.
Oh, right.
So I have a couple surprises in this episode, and I think if you're watching this video as a subscriber, and you probably heard of Elvenking and you probably know more of their songs than I do, I would say stick around because there's going to be some interesting stuff.
Surprising elements.
Yes. So let me give an example of what I'm talking about because this is all kind of vague. So I wanted to play something off their latest albums. Remember, they've been around for a long time. They have over 10 albums.
Nice.
The first one their demo was in 2000. We'll get into more of that later. But I wanted to play something off of their latest album, which is Readers of the Runes Divination. Apparently, it's going to be the start of a longer saga, like a conceptual...
Like Ancient Bards.
Exactly.
They also have like 3-album long
almost
story.
like the Crystal Sword Saga. This is the first part of that. So this album came out in 2019. Again, they were going on tour before COVID. And I was going to play Heathen Divine. I had a live video with the studio track on that. I still do like that song. But I'm going to play instead, as my first song, Sic Semper Tyrannus. And
Latin sounding.
A Latin sounding song. So we're going to see some live footage from the band with the studio track on top. And I want you to think out there, and I want you to think, what song or what does the composition remind you of, particularly of a well-known Swedish band? Can you make a connection between Sic Semper Tyrannus and a well-known Swedish band? And I will preface before I get into that I have no malicious intent with this. I'm not trying to say that anyone copied another song. That's not what I'm saying. But after we play the song, I think I'll make a point that is, again, not about like copyright or infringement, but I think it's just very similar to a song
Something
known
else.
by a well-known Swedish
Well, let's see if I
band.
find it.
So
let's see if you find it.
So let's go into that first. This is on this album. As I look at Spotify, I have 2 liked songs. It's Heathen Divine and Sic Semper Tyrannus. But I'm going to pick Sic Semper Tyrannus before my other 2 picks on this for Elvenking. So let's hear this.
Oh my God, I've been trying to think about which band. I can come up with something, but I cannot come up with the exact song you're probably thinking about.
Well.
Reveal.
Reveal.
This is the reveal.
Reveal. Again, I am not making any claim about copying or anything, but when I listen to this song, I thought a lot of Sabaton's Gott mit uns.
Ah.
And so, thanks to today's technology, we can do some things around that, which is, if you don't believe me, then what I've done is basically taken Gott mit uns and Sic Semper Tyrannus, and I've, based with some online tools, stripped the vocals and then switched the instrumentals. So we'll hear that. So first, we will hear Elvenking's vocals for Sic Semper Tyrannus on top of Sabaton's Gott mit uns.
Wow, this is very advanced.
Very advanced. I will say it's imperfect because when you strip the vocals from a track with these tools, the vocals are going to get distorted somehow. So, you know Gott mit uns.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't think of any particular song. I was thinking more like bands.
Yeah, it's hard to. As I was preparing for the. So let's get Elvenking. Hold on. What do I? Yeah, I want Elvenking on Gott mit uns first. So let's hear that.
Rising in power, the falling of our days. Souls to the mortal, shame and film. Soul for a penny and soul for the means. We're bound to be choking on all our sin. So is the tyrants in glorious ride. Sic Semper Tyrannus, the devil and his pride.
Okay, so it doesn't fit 100%.
But it's not far off the beat.
No, it's not far off the beat. But again, if Elvenking's vocals fit on Gott mit uns, then Joachim...
Who made it first? That's the other question.
Sabaton.
Chronologically, you checked the years.
Yeah, this is Elvenking's latest album. So we can take Joachim Broden and put it onto the instrumentals.
Of Elvenking.
Yeah, Sic Semper Tyrannus.
This would be a fun exercise.
Let's hear that. I think this actually works better.
We're ready to die for a king. Our fears are bright and fell. Right at you. Aim for the cannons. Don't attack. Thunder guns. Gott mit uns, as we all stand united. All together. Gott mit uns. So is the tyrant. In glorious ride.
I thought the first argument was stronger. But yes, no matter how you twist it, one way or another, there seems to be an overlap.
There is an overlap. And so I don't know what that means. Again, I'm not reading too much into it. And I know that these distorted music playings aren't perfect. But that's what I thought of.
Did you immediately think of it? As soon as you listened to this Sic Semper Tyrannus, you were reminded of the Sabaton song?
I wouldn't say necessarily immediately, but as I was trying to pick between Heathen Divine and Sic Semper Tyrannus, as I kept listening to that song, I was like, this sounds a lot like Gott mit uns. And I was like, wait, can I try to prove this out somehow? And so, so you pull the vocals out. And again, it's like all weird, distorted when you do that. But,
interesting stuff. Of course, this is work that hasn't been quite done a lot in audio. A lot of things have been done with video, but in terms of this AI reconstruction, hasn't.
And I have no like ulterior motive with this. I'm not trying to say anyone's copyrighted anything. I'm just saying.
They're similar.
It sounds a lot.
Not only you're proving that they are sounding.
I'm trying to give evidence for my claim that these songs are quite similar. But we also hear a lot like you've seen these videos of like all rock music explained in these four
rhythms.
Rhythms exactly. And so I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Maybe it simply says that Sabaton is such an overwhelming influence in the world of power metal music today that pretty much every band borrows some ideas from them. We don't know where Sabaton got this from. Maybe they also got inspired by something else. But yes, it was quite
It
obvious.
does work both
Yeah.
ways, I think. I understand it's distorted, but that's what I...
They should go on tour together and see what happens.
well, I think it's not too far a degree of separation from
No.
Brothers of Metal. Okay, so back to
Cool.
Elvenking. Again, I really changed my
Original preferences.
Yes, exactly. With Elvenking, and one of the things is that their singer, who's Damagorous, or for short, Damra. So he started with the band and then had basically some health issues, left the band, and then came back. I don't want to get too much into what those health issues are. I don't know. No one really knows. I don't want to focus too much on that, but it does play a bit into what I would, the kind of my song selection, which is, I'm going to play a song off of their demo album
My God.
called Banquet of Bards. And the reason I'm doing that is because they had a very highly successful demo album that's very highly sought after. They basically re-released their demo as Heathen Reel. So I think the demo came out in 2000, and they re-released
better produced probably.
Better produced as Heathen Reel in 2001 with 2 extra songs, but took out 2 of the songs from the demo. And there's quite a bit of, if you go down into the rabbit hole of Elvenking and things like that, basically people wonder, why were those 2 songs left out?
Yeah.
Because they really show promise for that band.
They were good songs.
Yeah, exactly. And it also reflects Damra's early vocal abilities before this health issue that he had coming back into the band, but at the same time are not the best reflection of his singing ability, because this was him early in his career, type of thing. And the reason I do this is because one of the critiques I had about the earlier songs I was going to play is that really a lot of the later Elvenking stuff in my book is very like anthem focused, and it's very sing-songy. Too much arena rock type of thing. So I want to go back to the origins of Elvenking with Banquet of Bards, and it's undeveloped, it's raw, but we will get, I think, some real strong notes of really great power metal in a demo form, raw. Again,
if this holds in the demo form, definitely holds.
It is what it is, but yeah, this is what I think really is there are some awesome power metal riffs in here that.
Well, let's listen to it.
Let's hear it. Banquet of Bards.
Song?
Banquet of Bards.
It is the name both of the song and of the demo.
Both of the song. It's one of the songs that was not included in Heathen Reel.
Okay.
And the demo is called Two Oak Woods Bestowed. Listen to some power metal riffs.
Miles sound next to you, forest deep, gathering up to 1,000 men, churches and bunches, they bring forth that banquet of silent on the west, the sea of the Spain. Mystic blazes and yellow leaves that will fall with smiling face. Into the void, build a banquet of bards. This ways of fellowship with you.
I love it. But I have an immediate question.
Yeah.
Was the violin part
No,
of this song?
the
No,
violin
right?
is not
I'm
part
like,
of this song.
am I out of this or not? Because I couldn't quite hear it. But again, I sometimes maybe not paying attention enough. I get sidetracked with the melody. Very good.
Yeah. And so this is
That was awesome with the switch between different rhythms and the polyphonic voices. That was awesome.
so this is the thing. This is-
Folkish, but not too folkish.
Exactly,
Yeah?
and this is the thing. This is like when you go into the depths of Elvenking and understand like what I'm completely glossing over is all of their anthem hits. But when you go to the core,
Yeah.
it's like this is awesome power metal. Why was this left out? Why was this cast aside?
Maybe because it wasn't popular.
I don't know.
Again, this is also way back in the day.
Yeah, this is good, right?
This is sometimes the decision that not musicians themselves make, but producers and people that are surrounding the music making. So obviously the people in Elvenking composed this and produced it and wrote the song and interpreted this as we hear. But maybe some other people in the music industry, because let's not forget this is an industry, have made a decision that this was not maybe productive.
Right. And so I think there was maybe 5 songs in this demo, and then 3 went into Heathen Reel, and then they put basically instead of these 2 songs, which is this one, Banquet of Bards, and also like Tree of Umd or something, I don't know the exact name. They basically put these aside, added some new songs, and those were hits.
So it was a good choice from
A
the
good
producer.
choice, but at least for us in the
In a niche.
in the sort of power metal vein, this could have been developed into
I think it's
something
already pretty
nice.
good. There are some transitions that maybe are not perfectly smooth, and of
No,
course,
of course not. It's a demo, but this is why this demo is very much in high demand, even back in the CD trading days.
it's amazing. It's available. I was just thinking of this as we were listening to it, that one can, in this day, listen to something that has been excluded from mainstream production.
Right, and the reason I wanted to play it is that again, I had picked some other, like Elven Legions was one of the songs I was going to play. It has an official video, but it's so much anthemy. It's and one of the things that Elvenking they mention in their influences is a lot of metal bands, but also a lot of pop as well. I mean, going everything from Jackson to Gaga, like it's really.
Mixture of things.
It's popish, which is something that doesn't have staying power for me, but a song like Banquet of Bards
This was so awesome. I really like it.
So-
in a sense, I do like this raw power. And even though, I must say again, even though it was homemade, so to say, like the quality of the instruments themselves was very good. Like
Yeah.
you could hear very clear. The voice was not always super clear, but the instruments and the transitions, for the most part, work very nicely.
Yes. And so, after Heathen Reel and maybe one other album, again, as I said, with Damra, the main singer, there was he had to take a break from the band for health reasons, and in the meantime, Massimo Clyde Bottiglieri, I can't even say it, Bottiglieri came in, and I'm going to play a song from the album Word.
Word?
Word.
That's the name of the album.
Which I think is some kind of pun on wood, which would be Elvenking, kind of elf metal.
Yeah.
And that's where we get some violins. And this is actually, of all these, my favorite song by Elvenking. And he was only there for a couple of years before Damra came back and sort of established the Elvenking that we know today. But I want to go back to that very brief period because it was more folkish. And here we get
violin.
And we get a great violin in the song The Silk Dilemma.
The Silk Dilemma.
Silk Road. So let's hear that. There's no video to accompany it, but I think this is a great example of violins in metal. So let's
nice
hear
cover.
It. Yes.
'cause the road I took is so scared. Shall we come to the moon? Already up in the day, long gone. The still dilemma is the key. Hold my hands till sunset off. I'm proud of what it done. At least the days I spent are so totally unique.
With bells.
With bells and whistles and all.
Yeah. Wow. This is very danceable, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I was
Folkish.
ready to leave my connection and dance around the room. Wow. That was cool.
Yeah.
And the violin.
Yeah. I mean, that's where the violin shines.
Yeah.
At that
It was actually
solo part.
very, very much forwarded, or how is it, like foregrounded.
Yeah.
Like a little bit like in Mago de Oz, sometimes they also do that with that folkish touch. With the violin brings that extra element that without it would
Violin
not be.
as support.
Very interesting. Very different songs. You have chosen 3 very different arenas in which Elvenking has been moving. It's hard to make sense of exactly where the band is at. I guess
And
they
that
play so
is-
many different things. I guess you have to listen to all of
That
it.
is the point of my choosing, because if you would play the Elvenking hits, it would be very much like arena ballad,
like the first
fan
song,
rock
mostly.
type of stuff. Yeah,
Same.
exactly. So that's why I wanted to, because as we choose the songs that we play, I wanted to play something that I could, in a sense,
Stand by. Yeah, I
right?
get
And
it.
I think really like Banquet of Bards.
I think
Awesome.
this may be my favorite of the 3.
Yeah.
If I am to choose, obviously it's different from each genre or
You
subgenre.
would be in the cult.
I'm in the cult.
You would be in
yes.
the cult of
demo
Elvenking songs
tape.
that didn't make it to the light of day. But,
That's so funny, right? Like, so seldom this happens, but yeah, there's probably the type of song I enjoy most because of the switches between different tempos and voices and instruments. But I really enjoyed as well the last song, the one with the violin being at the foreground and
I
the
will
melody too.
I will say that the violin hasn't gone from their current music. You'll get a lot of violin solos, but
Is it the same violin man? The same
I don't know
woman?
if it's
I
the
don't
same
even know.
player,
Yeah.
but it's I couldn't play a lot of their a lot of the video songs that they have because it's so
Yeah, it doesn't sound good in a metal
arena
context.
It's almost too popish, and so that's why I wanted to dig around and say like there is some awesome stuff done by Elvenking, but maybe not what is most promoted by the band itself, and maybe that gets
this
some
will
flack
get
from the
a storm
fans.
in the comments.
But I didn't. That's why I changed my entire focus on the episode from what they would be touring with to what I think is actually cool about the band. So, hate it or love it.
I think it's definitely worth listening to more stuff, and probably from what I have just heard from you, I would be directing myself towards the early works, more so
definitely.
than the later works, just by affinity of taste. But let us know in the comments if you think this is not exactly appropriate, or if there's a mixture of everything. Like their albums are multifaceted, and you can find more medley and more more pleasing, more popular, really in the sense, more popular music mixed in the same album for different publics that they may have.
And mini battle of the bands. Who was better? Joachim Broden singing Sic Semper Tyrannus or Damna singing Gott benutzt?
That was hard. That was a hard choice.
Yeah, it's kind of whack, but anyways.
My vote would go for the first option with the Elvenking vocal overlap with
Over the
Sabaton.
Sabaton instrumental.
I wonder if they have anything to comment on this. But yeah, we're not journalists. We're just
observers
and commentators of music. And so are you. Comment below on all this stuff and give us more suggestions for bands we should listen to and enjoy. So thanks in anticipation for that.
And in the meantime,
may your sword stay sharp
and your quests end in glory.